Georgia Tech's first unbeaten season since 1928 came after a result of 11 tough games. In the opener at Grant Field on a rainy afternoon, Georgia Tech played the SMU Mustangs. And here are the highlights of this and the other 10 games. Highlights of a great year. Midway of the first quarter, SMU back Jerry Norton dropped back to punt. Lost the ball, and Georgia Tech recovered. First down and goal to go at the SMU 6. On the first play, fullback Glenn Turner slants off tackle. Goes 6 yards, and it's Tech 6, SMU nothing. Turner adds the point, and the Jackets lead 7-0 in the first quarter. In the second period, Freddie Benner is back to pass, throws a beauty to Ben White, and it's all tied. SMU 7, Tech 7. Midway of the second quarter, quarterback Darrell Crawford fades to pass, finds Johnny Hicks open, and throws a 43-yard touchdown pass. The score at halftime, Tech 14, SMU 7. With the rain still pouring down, Tech cinched the game on Leon Hardeman's 29-yard run. Final score, Tech 21, SMU 7. Tech played Florida at night in Gainesville. On the first play, Huggins fumbled and Larry Morris recovered, giving Tech the ball on the Florida 13. Quarterback Darrell Crawford passed to Buck Martin for a touchdown, and in the first minute of play, it was Tech 7, Florida nothing. After scoring once in the second, once in the third quarter to lead by 3 touchdowns, Tech added one more in the final period on Art Ross' 53-yard run to the 4. First down and goal to go. Ross swept left in for the touchdown, and Tech beat Florida 27-0. After Georgia Tech kicked off, Kentucky carried the game to Tech, scoring on a fine running attack to lead at halftime. Kentucky 7, Georgia Tech nothing. The Jackets fought back in the second half. On the draw play, Art Ross gained 15. Darrell Crawford passed to Dave Davis on a beautiful 38-yard play. Davis was stopped on the 16, but Kentucky held. Then Vito Perilli, quick kick. Jakey Rudolph returned from the Tech 12 to the Tech 20. On second down, Johnny Hicks, left half, goes off tackle and races 68 yards on a spectacular run. Look at him go. Emory Clark catches Hicks on the Kentucky 6 where it's Tech's ball. First down and goal to go. 2 tries, net 4 yards. Then on third down 2, Glenn Turner drives in for the touchdown to make the score. Kentucky 7, Tech 6. First and 10 on Kentucky's 35. On the draw play, Glenn Turner gains 10 yards. Crawford takes to the air. Completes a pass to Dave Davis at the Kentucky 15, where it's Tech's ball, first and 10. 3 plays, failed again. On fourth down, it's Tech's last chance. And watch the clever quarterback on this one. It's complete to Pete Ferris, who stopped on the Kentucky 1-yard line. With first down and goal to go, quarterback Darrell Crawford, quarterback sneaks for the touchdown. And Tech comes from behind to beat Kentucky 13-7. LSU on a fine running attack scored first to lead Tech 7-0 in the first quarter. Then Norman Stevens' pass was intercepted by George Morris, who made a great one-handed stab. On the tackle-eligible play, Crawford passes to Lum Snyder. It's 1st and 10 for Tech, and the Yellow Jackets missed the try for point, and the score remains 7-6. In the second quarter, Barton takes to the air for LSU, and again it's George Morris who intercepts for Georgia Tech. The Jackets begin a sustained drive of 95 yards to pay dirt. 2 plays gain 15 yards, then Larry Ruffin, freshman halfback, sweeps left end and goes 56 scampering yards. Crawford passes to Dave Davis at the LSU 9. 3 line plays fail to gain, so on 4th down, Pepper Rogers tries a field goal for the Golden Tornado. It's good, and the score becomes Georgia Tech 9, LSU 7. 4th and final quarter, Glenn Turner dashes 36 yards up the middle. First down and goal to go for Tech on the LSU 6. On the first play from the 6, Crawford passes to George Malou for a touchdown. Final score, Tech 25, LSU 7. The spirited War Eagles of Auburn met Georgia Tech at Grant Field, and it was quite a battle, with Darrell Crawford throwing 4 touchdown passes. And then Tech, on their final touchdown drive, goes 79 yards on a Crawford to Martin play. It's a spectacular finish as Tech beats Auburn 27-7. Block kick by Lamar Wheat in the first 2 minutes, Tech scored to lead 6-0 at halftime. Tech threatened many times in the football game, to only push across 1 touchdown on a rain-soaked Dudley Field. Here's Crawford, a fake jump pass, and he throws to Hardiman, complete. As Tech drive close throughout the football game, but could never tally more than once. Now watch Darrell Crawford, who's become one of the outstanding T quarterbacks in the country. Final score, Tech 8, Vandy 7. Keyed up cadets of VMI scored first to lead Tech 7-0. But again, the Yellow Jackets came from behind to win it. In the first quarter, trailing 7-0, Crawford throws to Ferris for 15 yards. Again, Darrell Crawford takes to the air. This time he finds Johnny Hicks wide open, and Johnny scores on a fine 35-yard scoring play. On the very last play of the first half, Crawford again takes to the air and throws to Johnny Hicks on a sensational 70-yard play. Final score, Tech 34, VMI 7. After the first quarter featured a punting duel, Tech opened the second quarter on the Alabama 17-yard line. On the very first play, Darrell Crawford throws to Jeff Knox, who makes a great catch. It's 6-0 Tech at halftime. In the third quarter, Tech marches 83 yards after receiving the kickoff. Here, Larry Ruffin rips 10 yards up the middle. This sustained drive controlled the ball for 9 consecutive minutes. George Maloof gains 25 off tackle. It was a revengeful-minded Georgia Tech Golden Tornado that hit Birmingham. Here again, Larry Ruffin sweeps left end. Crawford passes to Jeff Knox. Tech is marching toward pay dirt, slowly but sure nothing. After the kickoff, Bama fumbles and Tech recovers. Crawford throws. Buck Martin gets it. Tech touchdown. 20-0 Tech in the third quarter. In the fourth and final period, Crawford again throws, this time to Jeff Knox, who scores his second touchdown as Tech rolls over Alabama 27-7. The Davidson game marked the first time that freshman quarterback Bill Brigman got a starting assignment at that post. In the Tech attack, Brigman came through beautifully. In the first quarter, the Davidson game marked the first time that freshman quarterback Bill Brigman got a starting assignment at that post. In the Tech attack, Brigman came through beautifully. In the first quarter, Brigman passes to Buck Martin for Tech's touchdown. And the Jackets lead 7-0. On a pitch out, Leon Hardeman races 44 yards to score. In the last quarter, Dick Pretz burst through for 35 yards as Tech rolls to an easy 34-7 win over the Davidson Wildcats. In the big game of the year, Tech plays Georgia before 40,000 fans at Grant Field. Tech kicks off to the Bulldogs. On the very first play, Warren Hargrove fumbles, and Pete Ferris recovers for Tech at the Georgia 23. On the first offensive play, Johnny Hicks on a pitch out sweeps left end and gains 8 yards. And Tech is marching toward the Georgia goal early in the game. On second down, Leon Hardeman rips off 7 yards to put the ball at the Georgia 9. On fourth down, Maloof scores from the 1. It's Tech 6, Georgia nothing. Hardeman goes from the 46 to the 36 on a trap play. Bukowski back to pass to Georgia is tackled by Bill Faden Ray Beck recovers for Georgia Tech, giving the Golden Tornado another great break deep in Bulldog territory. On a trap play up the middle, Leon Hardeman races to the Georgia 5-yard line. Then Maloof scores his second touchdown of the day. On a draw play up the middle, puts the ball in play on offense once again. On a draw play up the middle, George Maloof rips off 15 yards for Tech. This time on a pitch out, Johnny Hicks sweeps left end for 10 yards. Now one of the best executed plays of the afternoon. Crawford throwing and Leon Hardeman receiving on a great bit of Tech deception. It's complete and to nothing. Dave Redford's onside kick touches McClung, and Ted Schuler recovers for Tech, once again giving the Jackets the ball in Georgia territory. After faking his pitch out, Crawford keeps the ball, laterals to Brown, Brown to Buck Martin. Martin scores, and at the half, Tech 34, Georgia nothing. The Bulldogs come out fired up for the third quarter. Burkowski to Babcock, complete. Burkowski again takes to the air, throws to his favorite target, Big Harry Babcock, the right end. Now driving deep in Tech territory. On third down, Dick Raber sweeps right in to score the first Georgia Bulldog touchdown. It's now 34-6. Georgia's ball, third quarter. Burkowski passes, intercepted by Bobby Moorhead of Tech. Georgia Tech intercepted 8 passes by Burkowski that afternoon to set a new Southeastern Conference record. Now Crawford throws a long one to Pete Ferris for 40 yards to the Georgia 11. Leon Hardeman drives to the Georgia 5-yard line. On second down and goal to go from 5, George Maloof racks up his 4th touchdown of the day. It's now Tech 41, Georgia 6. Burkowski passing. Larry Morris intercepts. The freshman linebacker is going to go all the way to make it Tech 48, Georgia 6. A gorgeous day in Miami, Florida, with a temperature in the 80s. Unbeaten Georgia Tech meets the once-beaten Baylor Bears in the Orange Bowl Classic, one of the truly great spectacles in sports. Captain Lamar Weed of Tech meets with co-captain Stan Williams and Gail Galloway. Lamar Weed wins the toss, and Tech elects to take the wind and kick off. So to start the game, Tech kicks off and Baylor receives. Midway the first quarter, Baylor on the attack. Isbell gives to his fullback, Richard Palmer, who smashes up the middle for a first down for the Bears. The ball now on the Tech 32-yard line. Baylor's quarterback, Larry Isbell, takes to the air, fades and finds Harry Riley open at the Georgia Tech 3. It's first down and goal to go for Baylor. On the second play, again, it's the big fullback, Richard Palmer, who drives in for the score. And the Baylor Bears have drawn first blood. Theo Mercado trots in to add the extra point. And after 8 minutes of play, the score is Baylor 7, Georgia Tech nothing. This is just the beginning in a game that was never decided until the final whistle. Tech fights back. Johnny Hicks skirts left in for a Tech first down. On the now famous belly play, Crawford pitches out to Hicks, who goes for another Tech first down. Great quarterback, Darrell Curly Crawford, flips one to end Buck Martin, and the Golden Tornado is on its way to pay dirt. Baylor 22-yard line. Crawford takes to the air. He tosses a beauty once again to Big Buck Martin at the Baylor 3. In the first play, Crawford pitches out to Leon Hardeman on a peel-off. And Hardeman goes in standing up. Papa Rogers trots in for the extra point. And with just 20 seconds left to go in the initial period, what proved to be one of the most exciting bowl games of the day and the most exciting bowl games in Orange Bowl history, Rogers' kick is good, and it's all tied at the end of the first quarter, 7-7. In the second quarter, the Bears strike through the air. Isbell passes to Stan Williams. Now watch Isbell fake beautifully on the draw play to his fullback Parma. The Bears are again on the move. Isbell pitching, and this time it's Jerry Cootie receiving. The big halfback goes deep in Tech territory. Mixing his plays very well in the second quarter. Isbell now sends Parma inside the Tech 10 on a plunge through line. Baylor's offensive line looks good here in the first half. And on third down, Cootie smashes through to score. Mercado again comes in to add the extra point. It's good, and Baylor leads Georgia Tech 14. Again, the Yellow Jackets fight from behind. Crawford on the belly play to Hardeman. Tech's best gains all day against Baylor were through the air or around the ends. Here, freshman Larry Ruffin sweeps around the left side. Here on the greatest run of his career, Darrell Crawford keeps the ball and runs brilliantly to put the ball deep in Baylor territory. Here the Bears held, and at halftime it was 14-7 Baylor. And the crowd of more than 60,000 saw the halftime of halftimes, the great Miami show. In the fourth quarter, still trailing 14-7, Tech starts its brilliant comeback. Crawford a screen pass to his fullback, George Maloof. One of the key plays of Tech's great comeback, Crawford keeps and then pitches out to halfback Billy Tees. And the freshman dashes down the sidelines for 34 yards. This play put Tech right back in the ball game. It's first down for the Golden Tornado as Crawford pitches to Pete Ferris, complete. Now on fourth down, Crawford, with his last chance, takes to the air and shoots a bullet to Big Buck Martin in the end zone. It's now 14-13. The crowd goes wild. Pepper Rogers trots in from the sidelines to try the all-important extra point. There are now just 5 minutes left in the football game. Brannon holding, Rogers kicking. It's good, and with 5 minutes to go, it's a 14-14 tie. Now perhaps what could be called the play of the day in the 1952 Orange Bowl game. Isbell fakes to pass. He throws, but Big Pete Ferris intercepts for Tech, and watch him go. Ferris, great run interception puts the ball deep in Baylor territory on the 7-yard line. After 3 plays failed to score, on 4th down, Rogers comes in to try a very tough field goal from a wide angle at the Baylor 14-yard line. Charlie Brannon holds the ball, and the big crowd holds its breath. Watch Pepper. He'll tell you if it's good or not. It's good, and Tech beats Baylor 17-14. The greatest year in Tech football history, had many outstanding highlights. It marked the first time any team had 6 All-American players. Offensive captain and right tackle Hal Miller, a great blocker and fine team leader. Defensive captain George Morris, the key factor in Tech's great defense, which ranked number 2 in the country. Offensive right end Buck Martin, a great pass receiver and fine blocker as well. Offensive center Pete Brown, one of the truly great blockers in Tech's long football history. Defensive left half Bobby Moorhead, one of the big reasons Tech did not have a single pass. Moorhead, one of the big reasons Tech did not have a single pass scored against it all year long. And offensive halfback Leon Hardeman, one of the truly great runners of all time at Georgia Tech. Season in Georgia Tech football history opened against the Citadel at Grant Field. This was the first of a tough 11-game schedule. In the opening period, Tech marked its first score of the year on Larry Ruffin's great 32-yard dash off tackle. After Tech later still driving deep in Citadel territory, Dick Pretz sweeps the end for 26 yards in Tech's third score. Still in the first quarter, Leon Hardeman races for 20 yards around the end. Tech scores 4 times in the first 7 minutes. Here, Leon Hardeman climaxes the first period tallying with a 30-yard dash around the end as Tech goes on to maul Citadel 54-6. Clear night in Dallas, Texas, Georgia Tech meets the SMU Mustangs at the Cotton Bowl. This was the 3rd game in their series, each having won 1 game in the past. Georgia Tech showed its greatest offensive weapons of the year in this great game against the Mustangs of SMU, carrying the game to SMU all the way. First quarter, Glenn Turner slashes for 21 yards, and Tech is driving. In the now famous belly play, Leon Hardeman takes off around right end and goes all the way to the SMU 9. Again, it's Hardeman carrying the mail. And driving inside, cracks down to the SMU 6. And Tech climaxes its great first half scoring against the Mustangs when Billy T skirts left end for 6 big points to give Tech a 20-0 lead. The Jackets go on to coast in the second half and whip the Mustangs 20-7. 1952 was a Tulane Green Wave. They gave Tech a bitter defensive battle. Although Tech gained over 400 yards against Tulane, they couldn't score until the last minute of both halves. With 3 minutes to go in the first half, Bill Brigman starts a drive. A completed pass to Buck Martin. Bill again takes to the air, continuing his aerial bombardment. He again spots Big Buck Martin, and Tech is really moving. Now for the third consecutive play, it's Brigman pitching and Martin catching. But this drive stalled, and Tulane takes over with a minute to go in the first half. Now Tulane takes to the air. Pete Clement, their quarterback, fades to throw. He fires it, and Jakey Rudolph intercepts for Georgia Tech, giving the Jackets the ball inside the Tulane 40. Now with 10 seconds to go in the first, Brigman is back to throw a long one. He fakes to the left, and then heaves a tremendous pass down the middle. There's Buck Martin wide open, and Tech leads at the half 7-0. Herman drive by the Yellow Jackets late in the game net their second score. Hardiman circles right in for 35 yards. Tech goes on to score again and whip Tulane 14-0. The Auburn Tigers. The cries of War Eagle could be heard everywhere, and the Auburn team came to town. Tech won an easy victory over Auburn, though, 33-0. First quarter, Dudley Spence back to pass for the Tigers. Loops one, and Bobby Moorhead nares for Tech, and he races down the sidelines, 47 yards for the game's first score. It's 7-0 Tech. A moment later, freshman Bob James fumbles. George Morris recovers for Tech at the Auburn 6. On the first play from the Auburn 6-yard line, Billy Tees cuts outside left end, races in for the score, and it's 14-0 Tech. The Tigers again take to the air. Dudley Spence back to throw. Fires one down the middle, deflected by Larry Morris, intercepted by Bobby Moorhead. And Moorhead races to his second touchdown, and Tech leads 21-0. In the second half, Tech starts a 70-yard sustained drive. On a pitch out, Billy Tees scampers for 15. Brigman takes to the air. Shoots a long floating pass that Tees covers at the Auburn 30. Larry Ruffin, whose services were lost in this football game for the remainder of the season, here sweeps left in for an 18-yard first down for Tech. 3 plays later, Leon Hardiman climaxed the drive when he crashed for 2 yards in the Tech touchdown to make it 27-0. The final tally came late in the game. Pepper Roach is the quarterback, throws a high aerial to end Dave Davis, who gathers it in, and Tech beats Auburn 33-0. Tech's homecoming game for 1952 was against the Vanderbilt Commodores at Grant Field. Before a tremendous crowd, Georgia Tech played host to Vanderbilt and their fabulous freshman Bill Credemeyer. Here's the beginning of an 83-yard touchdown march by Tech. Glenn Turner ripping 21 yards up the middle on a trap play. Now on a pitch out, freshman Credemeyer all day, rushing and stopping him completely. Here Creed is back to pass. He's rushed by Teddy Schuler. He laterals to halfback Foster. Foster tries to get away, but he's hemmed in, and Schuler comes on to assist on the tackle. Passes to Jeff Knox. He's deep in Vandy territory and brought down at the Commodore 3. From the 3-yard line, fullback Jimmy Johnson smashes in. He scores, and Tech beats Vandy 30-0. Durham, North Carolina, before 50,000 fans. Unbeaten Georgia Tech plays unbeaten Duke in the game of the day in the country. It's homecoming for the Blue Devils. A great crowd is on hand to see these two bitter rivals. And 3 plays later on 4th down, Billy Tees crashes over for the score. Tech leads Duke 7-0. All day against Duke, Hardiman scores Tech's 3rd TD, and it's 21-0 at the half. 3rd quarter, Lutz back to boot. It's partially blocked by Sam Hensley. It'll be Tech's ball at the Duke 35-yard line as the Jackets outplay Duke all the way. Tech reached a terrific peak, and here back on a 4th down pass is Bill Brigman. It's good to Jeff Knox. Tech wins 28-7. Tornado of Georgia Tech, now Sugar Bowl bound, play host to the Army team. It's the first invasion by Army into the Southland. First, Billy Tees skirts left in for 17 yards and a Tech first down. After 2 plus team, he passes to Buck Martin and Tech leads at the half 24-6. 3rd quarter, Glenn Turner rips off tackle for Tech. Going all the way to the Army 45, and Tech is again marching on the ground. This began a long 62-yard march to pay dirt. On a quick opener, Billy Tees slashes straight ahead for 12 more yards. Mixing his plays well, Brigman now takes to the air and fires a completion to Jeff Knox for 18 yards. 2 more plays carry to the Army 12. Then on 2nd down, Brigman passes to Buck Martin, and Tech scores again. It's now 31-6. Scoring for the afternoon on a Rogers pass to Mike Austin. It's good for the final touchdown as Tech racks up Army 45-6. Florida State Seminoles make their first appearance on Grant Field in the semifinal of Tech's regular season schedule. Tech scores the first time they get the ball. Chapel Rhino races for 30 yards around in. After Tech racks up 2 more first downs, Bobby Gilliland starts around right in from the Florida State 12. He goes all the way, and Tech leads 7-0. One of the longest downs in the game came on Glenn Turner's great run up the middle of 62 yards. Now one of the record-breaking events of the year for Tech. A point-after touchdown kicked by Pepper Rogers. His 18th straight to break an all-time SEC record as Tech beats Florida State 30-0. Tech's first game of the 1953 season was played at Grant Field as they met the Davidson Wildcats. In the first quarter and their first down march of the year, Billy Teves on a handoff from Bill Brigman sweeps outside left end for 12 yards and a Tech first down. On Tech's very famous belly play, watch the faking as the official thinks Turner's got the ball and blows his whistle, though it's really pitched out to Hardiman, who makes a big gain on the play. But it all goes for naught. They bring this one back because of a quick whistle and great faking by Brigman and Turner. So, since that one didn't go, Tech runs the same play again. This time it works. The official sees Hardiman with the ball, and he picks up 15 yards on the play. This first drive is climaxed on the very next play as Hardiman again carries the mail for Tech. This time Muggsy sweeps outside right in for 5 yards and the first touchdown of the year as Tech leads Davidson 7-0. Tech went on to score 3 times, and in the second quarter, Larry Ruffin, junior right halfback, sweeps left in for 40 yards. Look at him go. Later, Ruffin again carries for Tech. This time Larry goes into the end zone for the touchdown as Tech overwhelms Davidson 53-0. First time they took the ball, Georgia Tech marched 60 yards to the Florida 1-yard line. But a fumble there cost them a possible touchdown. Here's Glenn Turner off tackle for 34 yards and a big first down for Georgia Tech. Billy Teves circles left end for 5 more yards. Trap play up the middle. Leon Hardiman cracked straight ahead for 6 more yards, and Tech is really moving. Fullback Glenn Turner smashes down to the Florida 1, but here's where fate intervenes. On the very next play, Leon Hardiman, trying for the score to put Tech ahead, fumbles, and Florida recovers. It's the Gators' ball on their own 1-yard line, so Rick Casares goes back to kick. Billy Teves takes it for Tech and scampers back to the Florida 14. On the first play, Teves gains 10 yards to the Florida 4-yard line. Inches short of the first down, Brigman drives for the first down on the Florida 1-yard line. But after 3 plays lose 4 yards, it's 4th down and 4 to go. The score is still deadlocked 0-0. Brigman on 4th down takes to the air. His pass is incomplete, and in the Florida Hurricane, it ends 0-0. In a very hard-fought first half, there was no scoring. In the third quarter, things popping. Nutt is back to pass for SMU, but Dave Davis grabs it for Tech. It's the Jackets' ball inside the SMU 25, 1st and 10. SMU was penalized to the 5-yard line, and on first down, Glenn Turner went 4 yards to the SMU 1. On the very next play, Pepper Rogers sneaks it over, and Tech leads SMU 6-0. Later in the third period, Dave Davis back in punt formation for Georgia Tech, deep in Jacket territory. He fumbles a snap from center. And watch the melee for the ball. Tech's got it. Or have they? It's SMU's ball as Bill Fox recovers on the Yellow Jacket 1-yard line. Now here's one of the great goal line stands of the year. First and goal to go. Quarterback sneak fails to gain. It's second down and goal to go on the 1. When a quarterback sneak, Nutt again fails to gain, but this time both sides were offside. So it's still second down and 1 to go. Item straight ahead. He doesn't make it. It's now third down and still 1 to go for SMU. Fourth down. No gain. It's 6-4. Plane, the Georgia Tech party returns to the spot where they won their first game in 1953 year, their January 1st victory over Ole Miss, and now hope to repeat a victory in New Orleans against the Tulane Green Wave. Georgia Tech fumbled the first time they got the ball, and the Tulane Greenies marched for a touchdown. From the 14-yard line, Ray Weidenbacher fakes a pass and dashes down to the Tech 3, where it's first down and goal to go for Tulane. On the next play, fullback Ronnie Kent smashes over, and Tulane leads Georgia Tech 6-0. In the second quarter, Tulane's ball, Pete Clements back to pass. He fires it, intercepted by Larry Morris of Georgia Tech, giving the Jackets the ball in Tulane territory. Wade Mitchell fades to pass for Georgia Tech. He's rushed, but he gets out of the trap and picks up 20 yards in the play, all the way to the Tulane 25. Leon Hardeman carrying for Tech. Starts a sweep, cuts back, and picks up 14 yards down to the Tulane 11. Three plays later from Tulane's 4-yard line, fullback Glenn Turner cracks off left guard for 4 yards and a score. Tech forges ahead 7-6. Now with less than a minute to go in the first half, Tech moves 50 yards, racing the clock. Bill Brigman passes to Sam Hensley for 32 yards. A great catch by Hensley. And now without even huddling and with just 4 seconds to go in the half, Brigman again fades to pass. He throws to freshman George Valkert, who's got it, and Tech scores to lead at halftime, 14-6. In the third period, Tech scored again on a 50-yard march. Here Leon Hardeman on a quickie, smashes straight ahead for 11 yards and a Tech first down. The ball is on Tulane's 37. It's again Hardeman who picks up 12 yards to the 25. Now Brigman back to pass, shoots a touchdown heave to Bill Sennett. Both Tech and Tulane score in the final quarter, and the final is 27-13. Auburn Plainsmen came to Atlanta undefeated to meet Georgia Tech in one of the bitterest battles in the long series. Tech went 55 yards the second time they got the ball. On a screen pass, Leon Hardeman picks up 39 yards. Watch this beautiful blocking. This drive is climaxed moments later when Muggsy again carries the ball for Georgia Tech and picks up 16 yards and a Tech touchdown. Tech leads Auburn 6-0. Auburn takes the kickoff. On the very first play after the kickoff, Vince Dooley fumbles, and Dave Davis recovers for Georgia Tech. The ball is in the Auburn 31. After making one first down, 3 downs failed to gain. So on 4th down, Burton Grant kicks a 23-yard field goal. It's now Tech 9, Auburn nothing. Second period, Tech still leading 9-0. Wade Mitchell passing for Tech. He shoots a long one to Dave Davis, complete on a great catch at the Auburn 31. In the very last minute of the first half, Mitchell, the freshman quarterback from Atlanta, fires one to Bill Sennett for 21 yards, and Tech leads at the half 16-0. The third quarter, Tech again strikes through the air on the arm of Billy Brigman, who passes for 26 yards to Sam Hensley. Watch this catch. It's now 23-0. In the fourth period, Tech marched 60 yards for its final TD. On the draw play, Linwood Roberts picks up 17 yards in a Tech first down. In one of his best runs of the year, on the Tech belly play, Hardeman goes 39 yards for a touchdown. Auburn scores in the final quarter to make the score 30-6. And then Tech climaxes action for the day as Larry Ruffin goes 39 yards around in for the Auburn 2. This set up the final score as George Humphreys, the fullback, cracks over the last 2 yards. And Tech beats Auburn 36-6. Turner kicks off for Georgia Tech in a game that received tremendous national coverage as writers and sportscasters from coast to coast saw the unbeaten Tech Yellow Jackets meet the unbeaten Irish of Notre Dame. Neil Warden runs the kickoff back to the Irish 20. From here, Notre Dame marched 80 yards to its first touchdown. One of the big plays was Joe Heap's big dash around in to the Georgia Tech 34. This play picked up 33 yards for Notre Dame. All-America Johnny Latner, right halfback for the Irish, cracked straight ahead for 15 yards, and another Notre Dame first down. The drive is completed moments later when Neil Warden, the fullback, goes 7 yards inside tackle, and Notre Dame leads Tech 7-0. That's all the scoring in the first half. Then in the third quarter, Guglielmi's back to pass. Watch this freak interception as Wade Mitchell grabs it on the ground, giving Tech the ball on their own 30. From here, the Jackets march 70 yards to tie the game. Billy tees around in for 12 yards and a Yellow Jacket first down. Brigman passes to Leon Hardeman for 11 yards, and the Jackets again move the stick. Sweeping the Irish ends. Georgia Tech again calls on Billy Tees, who goes outside left end for 11 yards. On the belly play, it's Billy Tees again with the ball for 12 yards and another Georgia Tech first down. Now deep in Notre Dame territory, Glenn Turner, the big fullback, carries the ball. He drives inside for 8 yards down the Notre Dame 7-yard line. 2 plays later, quarterback Wade Mitchell, the big freshman playing a great game, sneaks it over, and the score is tied 7-7 when Mitchell adds the extra point. Notre Dame came back and marched 60 yards, climaxed by Guglielmi's pass to Joe Heap for 9 yards and a touchdown. It's now 14-7. And moments later, when Tech fumbled a pass from center on a kick play, the Irish made it 21-7. Now in the final period, Tech trailing by 2, fights from behind as Hardeman makes a first down. And one of the most spectacular plays of the year, freshman Wade Mitchell back to pass. He throws a long one, good for 53 yards to Bill Tees for Tech's second touchdown. The Irish score one more time late in the game to win it, 27-14. Georgia Tech, coming back strong after their tough loss to Notre Dame in a great football game, looked great against Vanderbilt. First quarter pass play from Wade Mitchell to Dave Davis is good for 12 yards. Billy T slants off tackle for 17 yards, and Tech again moves the sticks. From the Vanderbilt 38-yard line, Billy T sets sail around in. He can't be stopped, and Tech leads Vanderbilt 7-0. Next time the Yellow Jackets got their hands on the ball, they went 60 yards for their second touchdown. Here freshman George Balkert, playing before his hometown fans in Nashville, sweeps the end for 20 yards. Bill Brigman passes to Jimmy Durham. It's complete for 19 yards, and Tech is really threatening. Again, Tech gives the ball to the hometown boy, George Balkert, who goes the final 10 yards to put Tech ahead 13-0. In the third quarter, Vanderbilt's ball. Quarterback Billy Holmes passing, but it's intercepted by Bill Sinnott of Georgia Tech. Pepper Rogers now at the helm for the Yellow Jackets. Pepper goes back to pass. He's rushed, but he picks up 15 yards on the play. From the Vandy 16, Rogers passes to Henry Hare for a touchdown. On the very last play of the football game, the clock completely running out, Burton Grant at quarterback fades to pass. He throws one for a 59-yard scoring play to Joe Hall as Georgia Tech racks up Vanderbilt 43-0. Homecoming crowd greets Georgia Tech's return to Atlanta after visits to South Bend and Nashville, Tennessee. Clemson scores first after an 80-yard march to lead Tech 7-0. Then minutes before the first half, Tech strikes back as Leon Hardeman makes a first down around the end. This play picked up 23 yards. Now again, Hardeman carrying the ball for Tech. Sweeps outside to his right and picks up 21 yards down to the 1-yard line. In the waning moments of the half, Pepper Rogers sneaks it over, and the score at halftime is all tied 7-7. In the third quarter, the sustained Tech march is climaxed by Pepper Rogers' pass to Dave Davis. This play is good for 18 yards and puts Tech ahead 14-7. Then in the final period, an insurance touchdown for the Yellow Jackets. Billy Tees dashes for 26 yards down to the Clemson 34. This drive is climaxed when Bill Brigman hits Bill Sinnott for a great 22-yard touchdown pass, and Tech whips Clemson 20-7. 2 interceptions of Georgia Tech passes set up both Alabama touchdowns. Here in the second quarter, Bobby Luna, after intercepting a pass, gained 7 yards off tackle. Bill Stone, the fullback, drives for 8 yards down to Tech's 5-yard line. And then Alabama scores as Bill Oliver goes inside tackle, and the Crimson Tide lead Tech 7-0. Late in the first half, Tech makes a determined bid to tie the game. Rogers passes for 19 yards to Sam Hensley. Rogers racing the clock. Passes complete to Henry Hare for 10 yards. With time running out, though, Tech tries a long field goal from the 34-yard line. Burton Grant kicks it, but it's short of the mark, and at the half, it's still 7-0 Alabama. Preceding the second half kickoff, Tech marches 70 yards to pay dirt. Charlie Brannon goes over left guard for 13 yards and a Tech first down. On a very well-executed screen pass, Rogers throws to fullback Glenn Turner behind the line, who then picks up 17 yards on the play. Really moving now. Bill T skirts left in for 7 more yards for Georgia Tech. On the next play, Rogers back to pass is rushed, gets out of the trap, and picks up 8 yards on the play. 2 plays later, with the Bama defense drawn in tight, fullback Glenn Turner simply moves outside the end and goes in standing up to make the score 7-6. And the Tech fans have something to shout about. Bama intercepts another Tech pass, though, late in the fourth period. And climaxes the drive when Elmore, quarterback, sneaks it over. Here, the Alabama extra point try is not good, giving Tech still the hope of tying or possibly going ahead to win, because the score is 13-6. The game ends with Georgia Tech on the Alabama 11-yard line, final 13-6 Alabama. Tech's traditional opponent, the Duke Blue Devils, this year in the new Atlantic Coast Conference, providing one of the greatest games ever seen at Grant Field, as Tech beat Duke 13-10 in a ball game that was always close, bitterly fought, and a tremendous contest to see. Duke moved 80 yards the first time they got their ball. In the first quarter, McKeithen picked up 10 yards to the 50-yard line. Then, taking a pitch out, Lloyd Caudle passed to McKeithen for 12 yards and another Duke first down. Fullback Jack Kistler dashes for 18 yards around in, down to the Georgia Tech 5-yard line. Here, 3 plays failed again, so on fourth down, Bernie Jack kicks a field goal, and Duke leads Tech 3-0. In the second period, Dave Davis kicks a beauty, a sensational 52-yard kick that rolls dead on the Duke 2-yard line. Make it the 1-yard line. Make it the 1-foot line. Deep in their own territory, Duke was forced to kick back. And then late in the first half, Tech begins its touchdown drive. Pepper Rogers passes to Charlie Brannon for a Tech first down on the 44. Rogers again passes to his old high school mate, Charlie Brannon, this time good for 22 yards to the Duke 19. Tech at this point is really racing the clock, as Rogers passes to Henry Hare for 10 yards down to the Duke 9-yard line. Glenn Turner cracks off tackle for 7 yards down to the Duke 2-yard line. And then 2 plays later, quarterback Pepper Rogers sneaks it over to put Tech in front 6-3. There's slightly more than a minute to go in the first half as Georgia Tech kicks off to Duke, leading for the first time in the football game. The kick is taken by the big end, Howard Pitt. And as he is hemmed in, he laterals to Lloyd Caudle. Caudle breaks into the clear, and it looks like a cinch touchdown for the Blue Devils. But watch Jakey Shoemaker get him from behind. Down he goes with seconds to go in the half. Duke takes to the air. Jerry Barger pitching for the Blue Devils. He throws it, but it's intercepted by Glenn Turner for Tech on the last play of the first half. And Tech leads at halftime. It must have been a very thrilling first half, 6-3. Third period, Duke's ball. Caudle pitches back to Barger after seemingly being tackled. Barger goes down to the Tech 23 for a Duke first down. Barger passes to Kosarik for 9 yards at the Georgia Tech 14. He laterals. Country Meadows touches it last for Duke before the ball goes out of bounds. Jack Kistler cracks for 6 yards down to the Georgia Tech 4-yard line. Now it's 4th down and goal to go. And again, Duke calls on Kistel, the fullback, who sweeps the end and goes in for the touchdown to put Duke ahead 10-6. Late in the ball game, in the final 3 minutes, Barger's back to kick on 4th down. He boots a high one to Billy Tease on the Duke 48. Watch the beautiful blocking as Tease comes up with a key play of the game. He scampers all the way to give Duke a tremendous loss and Tech a great victory, 13-10. Tech and Georgia meeting for the very last time are Zeke Burkowski for the Bulldogs along with Derwent Langley, and for Tech, Sam Hensley, Ed Gossage, and Orville Vereen. Playing now in the first period, Georgia's ball deep in their own territory. Right halfback Charlie Madison with the ball, fumbles for Georgia, recovered by Jakey Shoemaker for Georgia Tech. On the first play in this series of downs, left half Charlie Brannon cracks off guard, gaining 7 yards for the Yellow Jackets. 3 plays later, Pepper Rogers, quarterback, sneaks it over, and Tech leads the Bulldogs 7-0. Later in the first period, Pepper Rogers passes to Henry Hare, and it's good for 19 yards, and a Tech first down. On the next play, Rogers again fakes to pass. He's rushed, gets away, and picks up 25 yards on the play. Still clicking through the air, Rogers hits Jimmy Durham for 12 yards, and the Jackets again move the sticks. From the Georgia 14-yard line, fullback George Humphreys goes all the way. Give the Jackets a 2-touchdown cushion, 14-0. In the second period, the Bulldogs recover a Tech fumble and begin a touchdown march as Jimmy Campagna races right in for 12 yards. Fullback Bob Foots Clemens cracks off tackle for 7 more yards for Georgia. And then moments later, on a quick opener, Charlie Madison drives straight ahead for the Georgia touchdown. It's now 14-6 Tech. In one of the most unusual plays you'll ever see, Burkowski passes complete to Charlie Madison. He breaks into the open. It looks like a sure Georgia touchdown. But Madison is trapped from behind, fumbles the ball in midair, and it's grabbed by Ben Darty for Georgia Tech. A tough break for the Bulldogs, and a very great break for Tech. From here on their own 5-yard line, the Jackets march 95 yards to a touchdown. Billy Tease picks up 18 yards around in. Fullback Johnny Hunsinger, carrying the mail up the middle, picks up 22 yards, and another Tech first down. Now Rogers takes to the air. He flips one to Billy Tees, and it's good for 21 yards. Moving deep in Bulldog territory, Johnny Hunsinger smashes up the middle for 12 yards for the Georgia 6. With just 6 seconds to go in the first half, racing the clock, Rogers pitches out the tees. He throws his only college pass, and it's good for a touchdown to Jimmy Durham. At the half, it's 21-6. In the second half, both Tech and Georgia score 1 touchdown each. The Jackets' march is a big 75-yard sustained drive. Here, Billy Tees picks up 28 yards for the Yellow Jackets. Fullback Johnny Hunsinger slants off tackle for 7 yards. Tees skirts left in and picks up 8 more yards on the Tech belly play. Now for Tech's final touchdown of the regular season. Pepper Rogers passes to Henry Hare as Tech beats Georgia 28-12. January 1st, 1954. For the 3rd consecutive year, Georgia Tech is victorious in a major bowl game. It's the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Georgia Tech against West Virginia. Tech wins the toss, elects to receive. In the first quarter, the Yellow Jackets go right to work. On the first play, Pepper Rogers shoots a beautiful screen pass to Glenn Turner, and the play gains 19 yards and the first down for the Golden Tornado. On this first drive, Rogers completes 7 passes. Watch this beautiful catch by Sam Hensley, and Tech again moves the sticks. Moments later comes the payoff play. Faking neatly, Rogers fakes the throw, and again finds Sam Hensley wide open. Touchdown Tech, the Jackets lead 7-0. But the Mountaineers from West Virginia come fighting back. On a pitch out, fullback Fred Allman sweeps the end and goes all the way 60 yards on a great run. Here West Virginia has a terrific setback as the play is called back because of the penalty. After losing the ball, Tech marches to its 2nd touchdown. Rogers faking a handoff, passes to Jimmy Durham. It's now 14-0 Tech in the first period. In the second quarter, West Virginia scores its first touchdown. Left half, Jack Stone slices down to the Georgia Tech 5-yard line. On the next play, it's fullback Allman on a pitch out. He goes all the way to score. It's now Tech 14, West Virginia 6. With time running out in the first half, Bill Brigman takes to the air. Watch this great pass play from Brigman to Bill Tees. The play gains to the West Virginia 25. On the next play, Brigman racing the clock. Fires a beauty to Dave Davis. It's now Tech's ball on the West Virginia 10. On a beautiful executed inside belly play, Hardiman scores for Tech. But Muggsy's great run is brought back for a penalty. There's time for just a couple of plays. Pepper Rogers now running the team. Watch this catch by Henry Hare, a diving, leaping grab, and he goes out of bounds to stop the clock. There's time for one more play in the first half. Can Tech score? Take a close look at Pepper Rogers on this bootleg pass play, and you'll see they do. At the half, it's 20-6 Tech. The sellout crowd loves it. It's been a great game so far, and there's still more great plays to come. On the draw play up the middle, Glenn Turner picks up 35 yards for Tech. When he's boxed in, he laterals off to Bill Tees. Tees can go all the way, but they call this one a forward lateral. The ball is brought back. 2 plays later from the West Virginia 27. Look at the faking as Leon Hardiman goes all the way on a great touchdown scamper. They never touched him. It's now Georgia Tech 29, West Virginia 6. But the Mountaineers still have plenty of fight left. On a handoff, Jack Stone on a quickie gains 5 yards. Now it's fullback Allman bulling his way to the 3. On the very last play of the third period, right half Marconi straight ahead of the Georgia Tech 1-yard line. At the end of 3 quarters of play, it's Georgia Tech 29, West Virginia 6. On the first play of the final quarter, Marconi on 4th down smashes over, and it's now 29-13. The fans who came from West Virginia are rather pleased at this score. Trap play. Freshman Paul Rotenberry smashes 15 yards for Tech. On one of the most determined runs of his career, Larry Ruffin on an outside belly play goes 52 yards, and they just can't stop him. Will he make it? He made it. Touchdown Tech, and the score is now 35-13. The Mountaineers take to the air. Quarterback Anderson fires one to Papetti on one of the prettiest plays of the day for West Virginia. Left half Jack Stone drives down to the Georgia Tech 1-yard line. On the very next play, fullback Fred Allman scores, and it's now Tech 35, West Virginia 19. The final score of the day came moments later as right half Bill Tees cracks inside and goes for 8 yards and a touchdown. Georgia Tech whips West Virginia 42-19.